Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. It's a bright and sunny day here at the beer garden here at Capitol Brewery.
We're in Middleton's backyard, and it's lovely.
It's lovely. It's always lovely. And it's summertime. Summertime's approaching us, and here to talk a little bit more about some things to consider during summer is Laura Mael from the Better Business Bureau. Laura, welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you for being here with us today. So, summertime is here. People usually start looking for opportunities to do home improvement, those of us who are homeowners out there. But there are some things to be aware of if people come knocking at your door and say, hey, I can fix that for you. There's some things to be aware of. Can you talk a little bit to viewers about what people should be looking for when people come and knock at their door and try to sell them something like that?
Sure. If someone comes to your door and says, hey, I have all this extra material left over from a project, I'll give you a really good deal. Mm-hmm. You can get something at a reduced rate. Be very cautious. Contractors are very careful with how much material they order. They never have anything extra. So that good deal probably isn't a good deal.
Okay, interesting. So the extra material thing is just kind of a ploy to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, okay.
It makes it sound really enticing.
I know,
like, wow, what a great time.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. So, and you mentioned that, a lot of these people do go door to door or cold calling, things of that nature. What do you do then to sort of validate them? Do you ask for identification? If so, what do you look for?
Right. Yeah, so you want to know that you can identify who you're speaking with. So they should be able to give you any kind of information that you ask for, the name of their business, their address, their location. They should give you a photo identification. It should be either a business ID or a driver's license, something like that, as well as a business card, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't want to stop there. You don't want to just have someone come to your door and pick them up right away and have them do the work. You want to say, thanks for coming, I'll get back to you.
Sure.
And then go and check with like a NARI or an MABA or the BBB and see if these professional organizations have any information on this company so that you can really validate who they are.
No kidding. And even if they are a good, a legitimate company, you check a site like that, you might find out what kind of work they've done in the past. A good deal isn't always as good as it seems.
And oftentimes companies that have the affiliation with those types of associations like NARI and so forth, obviously they'd be a little bit more credible if somebody like NARI is going to back them up. So
all of us require an ethics statement to be signed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say that you decide that, okay, these people are reputable people. I want them to work for me. I want them to do this work. They bring you the contract. What can you do when you're reading over the contract? What can you look for? What should you be looking for?
If you read the contract.
Well, obviously,
if you're like me,
you got to read it first.
Right, yeah.
Well, you want to make sure the contract states who's responsible for different certificates and building permits and things like that. You want the contractor to be as responsible for all of that as possible, but you need to make sure you know what's in the contract, who does what. You want to make sure you know what kind of licensing that company has. You want to know what their return policy is, so to say, or are they going to come back and check the work in a couple of days, make sure you're happy. How much are you paying up front versus how much do you pay at the end? All of those details are really, really important. Just imagine paying for everything up front and then the work never gets done and it's in the contract that you could pay and they could come back later.
Right.
Unfortunately, you do hear horror stories like that of contractors just not completing their work. It happens.
Yeah.
So explain I don't know what this is. I've not heard of this. There's a 3-day cooling off period that was instituted by the FTC. What is that?
Yeah, so very similar to when you own your own home and you get a second mortgage, you have a 3-day right to rescind that. So you could have a second thought and say, this is my home. I don't want to put it on in any kind of jeopardy. I have changed my mind. It's the same concept.
Okay.
Somebody comes to your door, you sign up for a very expensive project, and you decide 3 days later, that's just too much money, we're just not going to do it right now. You have the right to say no. When you get your original contract and sign it, you should get a right to cancel notification paperwork from the contractor so that you can sign it and turn it back in. And then they have 10 days to return your money.
Yeah.
know, that's really nice because sometimes you don't know how you feel about something until you set forth in motion. And it gives you sort of that moment of buyer's remorse to say, oops, maybe this isn't right for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
So, unfortunately, even though there's a lot of protection out there for consumers and so forth, and you guys do great work in helping with that effort, people get scammed.
Yeah.
I mean, people get had. So what happens, and I think it's nothing to be ashamed of because there's some great scam artists out there. What should people do when they get scammed?
Justin's complimenting all you really good scam artists out there.
Yeah, if you find that you've been scammed, please contact the office here in the Madison Market. It's 608-268-2221. And Brenda or myself will help you through that. We have a database, a scam tracker database. We're happy to record the information, save it just in case authorities can track this person down and grab them, then they have your information. But at least you feel empowered to tell other people, this happened to me, don't let it happen to you.
Absolutely. So take the initiative and be the example and don't let it happen to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So, Laura Mael from the Better Business Bureau, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Don't go away, there's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break.